It happened years ago, maybe a decade, maybe more. And yet somehow, at 2 in the morning, completely unprompted, it surfaces. The thing you said in that meeting, the way you tripped in front of everyone, the joke that landed in total silence. Your whole body reacts as if it just happened. Your face gets hot, your stomach drops. You actually cringe, alone, in the dark, over something nobody else remembers. You have tried to forget it. You have told yourself it does not matter, and yet it keeps coming back, sharper and more detailed than memories of things that actually mattered. Why does your brain do this to you? The answer is not that something is wrong with you. The answer is that your memory system was never built to be fair. It was built to be useful. And to the part of your brain in charge of memory, nothing is more useful than the moment you embarrassed yourself in front of the group. Here is what most people do not realize about memory. You do not store experiences the way a camera stores footage. Every memory you have is reconstructed, rebuilt, and resaved nearly every time you recall it. Neuroscientist Karim Nader discovered this in a series of experiments that reshaped how scientists understand memory itself. He found that recalling a memory does not simply replay it. It makes the memory temporarily unstable, vulnerable to change, before it gets locked back into storage. This process is called reconsolidation, and it explains why some memories grow sharper and more vivid every single time you think about them, while others quietly fade. So which memories survive this process the strongest? The ones tagged as important. And your brain has a very specific, very ancient definition of important. For most of human history, you did not survive alone. You survived because of your group. The tribe fed you, protected you, helped you raise children, defended you from threats you could not face by yourself. Being part of the group was not a preference. It was the entire foundation of staying alive. And that meant one thing mattered more than almost anything else: your reputation within that group. Psychologist Baumeister has spent decades studying what he calls the need to belong. His research suggests that humans evolved an extraordinarily sensitive system for monitoring social standing, because in the ancestral environment, damage to your reputation was not a minor inconvenience. It was a direct threat to your survival. If the group saw you as incompetent, untrustworthy, or socially clumsy, the consequences were not embarrassment. They were exile. And exile, alone on the savannah, usually meant death. This is where the embarrassing memory comes in. Your brain treats a moment of public humiliation the same way it treats a brush with a predator. Something dangerous happened. Pay attention. Encode this deeply. Do not let it happen again. Neuroscientist LeDoux's research on the amygdala shows that emotionally intense experiences get tagged for stronger, longer-lasting storage than neutral ones. The amygdala essentially flags certain memories as critical and routes them for deeper consolidation in the hippocampus. Fear does this. So does shame. The chemical signature of a humiliating moment is remarkably similar to the chemical signature of physical danger. Your brain is not distinguishing between a saber-toothed cat and a room full of silent, staring faces. To your amygdala, both are the same category of event. Threat detected. Remember everything. This is also why embarrassing memories come with such vivid sensory detail. You do not just remember that you embarrassed yourself. You remember the exact words, the specific person who was looking at you, the temperature of the room, the fabric of your shirt. This is not a coincidence. High arousal memories recruit more of the brain's encoding machinery than ordinary ones. Your brain assumed that if this happened once, the details might help you avoid it happening again. There is a name for this evolutionary logic. Researchers call it the smoke detector principle, a term popularized by evolutionary psychologist Randolph Nesse. A smoke detector is designed to go off far more often than there is an actual fire, because the cost of a false alarm, the annoying beep, is tiny compared to the cost of missing a real fire. Your shame response works the same way. It is wildly oversensitive on purpose. It would rather have you replaying a clumsy joke from 2014 1,000 times than risk you repeating a behavior that could have gotten you exiled from the group that kept you alive. You are not broken. Your alarm system is just doing exactly what it evolved to do, in a world that no longer requires this level of vigilance. Because here is the strange twist. In the modern world, almost none of these moments carry the stakes your brain assumes they do. The coworker who saw you trip does not think about it again. The group that heard your awkward joke moved on within minutes. Researcher Thomas Gilovich identified something called the spotlight effect, the finding that people consistently and dramatically overestimate how much others notice and remember their mistakes. In his studies, participants believed twice as many people had noticed an embarrassing moment than actually had. You are the main character in your own memory. But you are a background extra in almost everyone else's. Your brain, however, was not built for an environment where social mistakes are this forgettable. It was built for a small group of 30 to 150 people, where everyone knew everyone, where a single act of incompetence really could follow you for years, where reputation was currency you could not afford to lose. In that world, the smoke detector was calibrated correctly. In this world, it goes off constantly for fires that burned out the moment they started. So the next time that memory resurfaces at 2 in the morning, you do not have to fight it or shame yourself for still carrying it. You can recognize it for what it actually is. Not evidence that you are foolish. Not proof that everyone remembers. Just an ancient alarm system doing the only job it was ever designed to do. Protecting a version of you that no longer exists, in a world that no longer works the way it did. The moment is gone. The people who witnessed it have already forgotten. The only one still standing in that room, replaying it on a loop, is the part of your brain that loved you enough to never let you forget how it might keep you safe. And maybe that is worth feeling, for just a second, before you let it go.